This conference will now be recorded.
All right, let's do the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I knew there was going to be a lot of people here.
All right, minutes of the May 11th meeting. Any additions or corrections?
Move to approve minutes of the, which ones are they?
May 11th.
May 11th.
Any discussion? All right, calling the vote. Craig, you're starting us off.
Aye.
All right. Minutes are approved of the May 11th meeting. And then approval of the minutes of the May 25th meeting. I recommend you have that word. So we're not paying the outside.
Okay. I move to approve the minutes of the May 25th meeting with the correction rest area interior building.
I second that.
All right, any other discussion, corrections? All right, Tina, you're up first. Calling the vote.
Oh, aye, sorry. Aye.
All right. Public comment on non-agenda items. If you have any items not on the agenda that you'd like to discuss, to the microphone, what's your name? Second call for public comment on non-agenda items. Last call for public comment on non-agenda items. Leaving it on the unfinished business so that we don't lose it is the resolution to act on the water perk. I've been in contact with Colette and Cody on some of the action items on there, and I think a work session with Forrest might be an item before that one's finished, is what they recommended. So, 4 of us sitting down and going through it. So that's where it's at. Okay. Yeah, it's planner versus not what you cannot do. So, or if we just act on it and carry on. There's like chickens and eggs and what you can and cannot do. So with the annexation of the hospital, so
Got it. Okay.
some more professional help before that one's ready.
I like that.
And then I think we should prep one for the wastewater as well. But we kind of decided no action was needed until a new permit was issued, an agreement. And then it's updated once that's done. Is that all? Kind of where that one should go. All right, on to scheduled matters. So all of the resolutions and items that we've had, now we can put to paper. So I'd like to, those meetings, July 13th and 27th, to be our legislative session. We'll have 5 public hearings per night, so there won't be there won't be extra agenda items other than the 13th. Habitat for Humanity would like to come down and give a presentation. So I've set them for the 13th. And they're supposed to be sending me information before July 7th. So that's what I know there. to the Lions Club Park. There has been a request to change the location of the dog park that we approved. They kind of go hand in hand, B and C. So would somebody from the dog park like to come up and give the why in the how?
Can you hear me now?
It's just recording.
I'm Mike Delaney with the Ennis Lions Club and here to clarify the approval of the location of the dog park. I believe you guys have the diagram. After careful consideration and us taking into consideration future growth in the park and such, we decided to move it to a place that we feel like is actually going to be better. There's going to be trees and kind of some swales there, and we're cleaning up an area that has long been kind of a dumping ground for concrete and fencing and you name it, we've gotten it out of there. So we're requesting just the change of location in the park, just a simple approval from you guys on just that.
All right, public comment. So you get 3 chances to say your piece. All right, second call for public comment on the change in location. Last call, public comment on changing location. Commission?
I like the new spot for it. I'm just concerned that, about traffic on the Lagoon Road because John had just sent us an update on that trespassing. So as
The
long as,
Lagoon Road has to be, and that was Eric's only concern in the office, to make it clear that that's not a thorough road for use for parking, that that's gotta be for the lagoon. Yeah, and we'll get that, it's just gonna be what's, close the gate, you walk to it.
So are you saying that nobody can drive in on the road to the lagoon at all from the parking lot?
that's correct, because there's no trespassing signs.
There's oftentimes events happening there that there is parking for.
Am I supposed to say my name?
Yes, please.
My name's Julie Bartos. I'm a member of the Ennis Lions Club and on the dog park committee. I have spoken with Officer Matthew, what's his last name? Fisher, Officer Fisher, about a month ago. And he informed me to spread the word amongst the entire Lions Club that they would be issuing citations where it becomes dirt road off of that road. I don't know of anybody that's ever driven down that road or why they would, but he explained to me there's like 5 signs on that road that say no, and he actually I think he started giving citations for anybody that walks or drives back there. So I don't know if there's a gate on that, but certainly we can put another sign if necessary that nobody's allowed to access that area. All the Lions are aware of it. It would just be a matter of making sure that all the people visiting the dog park knew they can't go off the paved road. But everybody should be walking back there anyway and not driving.
Commission?
The same size, about the same size?
About the same size,
And same height fencing.
4 or 5 feet.
No driving back here. But this is overflow parking in the past.
So like, it's just a relocation, basically, right?
Yes, sir.
Everything else is the
Everything's
same.
out.
Same gates.
Well,
This was same height or higher.
So I guess my only concern, your location number 1 is what I've always, I guess, considered overflow parking back in there. Where would you park vehicles in option number 2?
Let me see what you're looking
So this is option number 1.
This is where we're going, right here. Update the dog park location.
Okay, but we're not talking pickleball right now.
No, we're not talking this. This is just dog park. The
Sorry.
dog park was there.
I fast forward.
If I can clarify on the driving back there, it's nobody's intention that the dog park people will park anywhere but in the regular main parking lot and walk to the dog park. That's nobody's, a regular everyday occurrence to using the dog park is park in the regular big parking lot, walk on back.
I was just concerned just because Officer Moore had sent us an email making us aware that it is trespassing. So I just wanted to clarify.
It is trespassing.
To be driving through the road to the lagoon.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, if as Lions were working in the park, they're
Oh, right.
driving on it, of course.
Right.
But
I
the,
just-
but the intention is not to
Okay.
have the public driving on it.
Okay.
Yep, okay.
Any other? All right, it's all about then. Nikki. Randy.
Aye.
Gary. On to pickleball courts.
Is there a map that I know? You guys got one with the red? No. Here, you can have this one. You share? Yeah, you can share.
Hi, my name is Cindy Gockel, and I'm a pickleball player. It always sounds like I'm at a AA meeting or something like that. But so I wanted to thank Mayor Nikki for allowing us this time to share some of our ideas about adding additional pickleball courts here in Ennis. Pickleball is the fastest growing sport in the US, and it has been for several years. And we're seeing that same explosive growth here in Ennis. The number of us locals playing pickleball has almost doubled in the last year. Sometimes it feels like just the last couple of months. And now the school is going to start teaching pickleball in PE. So we're hoping that next year we'll start to see a lot more younger people out on the courts with us. So a little bit of history about how pickleball came to Ennis. Our very own Maria Lake first told Corey Koenig, who was the head of the continuing education program at the time, about pickleball. And she asked Dan Olkowski to teach a class, who he did. And that was in like 2012, 2013, somewhere in there. Back in those days, there were just a handful of people playing, and we played inside in the gym. But over the last 10 years, Patty Hunter, our teacher extraordinaire, has trained a lot of people, taught a lot of people how to play pickleball, and gotten a lot of other people hooked on the sport. In addition to our local people that are playing, we also have a lot of summer people who come out and play on the courts with us. So one of the things that makes pickleball so special is that unlike tennis, where 2 people or 4 people will show up to play and they only play with themselves, pickleball is different in that 20 people will show up at a court knowing that they're always going to get a place to play. The games are short, they're only to 11, and they take about 5 or 10 minutes to play to finish a game. Once they're finished, 2 or 4 people, depends on how that court handles it, come off, and 2 or 4 people will rotate in. So it ends up that you end up playing with everybody and against everybody. So it's very different than tennis. And it makes pickleball the perfect sport for Ennis with all of our visitors, with all of our vacationers, with all of our summer people. You can show up at a court and know that you're going to get to play. You don't have to know somebody else who plays pickleball to be able to play. So it's the perfect sport, I think, for our town. Last year, we put on a pickleball tournament. And one of the things that was really interesting, we heard from the realtors that when people would come in, they would ask specifically, do you have pickleball courts? But wait, Maria, you introduced it. So right now, the answer to that question, do you have pickleball courts, is well, sort of. We have been playing outside on the old basketball courts for the high school on the west end of the high school parking lot. We bring out portable nets and set them up, and there have been lines for 4 courts painted on the basketball court. So that's where we're playing now. Even with just the locals playing, there are days when we fill up all 4 courts and we have people waiting. And the bulk of the summer people haven't even come here yet. So Ennis could certainly use additional pickleball courts. The Ennis Pickleball Club is asking permission from the mayor and the town council to build 4 or 5 pickleball courts in Lions Park. And we've already received approval from the Lions to build the courts. I talked with the guy who was like the master builder of pickleball courts in the area, and he confirmed that the cost would be between 150 and 200,000 to build 4 or 5 courts. And the Ennis Pickleball Club is ready to do the fundraising necessary to pay for the bulk of the courts. We are also already maintaining the courts where we play, even though it's school property. We take out the trash, we shovel up the dog and the deer poop that happens on the court. We clean up the, whatever that, yes, the chocolate cupcake, we're hoping that was on the court. Anyway, we clean all that up. And we would do the same thing for the courts at Lions Park. So we believe that pickleball courts would be a great addition to our town's amenities, and we're asking the mayor and the town council for your permission to build 4 or 5 courts in Lions Park. And with your permission, I would like to ask Patty Hunter, who has taught so many people how to play pickleball. She's with the continuing education program, and Alita Jones to come up and kind of give their perspective about pickleball here.
I am Patty Hunter. I have been teaching beginning pickleball and facilitating intermediate pickleball for the Ennis Adult Ed for probably, I don't know, I can't even remember, 6, 7, maybe 8 years, somewhere in that vicinity. Anyway, I started the beginner one because there was a need, and we did it only in the winter session, and that went fine. We did 6 people at each class. That went on for quite a while. The last 2 years, it's changed. Um, I end up with a waiting list, and people register immediately. This last time for my spring session, which I've never done a spring session before, this is the first time, and it was only because there was the need. People were requesting it. So I bumped it up to 8 people, and 2 hours after registration had opened, Kayla, who is the director, told me it was already full, and she'd started a waiting list. What I have noticed over the times, the years that I've been doing this, is the demographics are really changing. It used to be everybody that came and played was in my age range, okay? And they're slower learners like I am. Well, the last 2 years, it has changed. I have a lot younger people. This last year, I've had people in their 20s, their 30s, their 40s, their 50s. They're locals because they're here year round. They're people that work here. Their kids go to school here. It's really changed. The last class of 8, I only had one that was a retired person. Everybody else were younger, and it was fun. I mean, it's so fun. They've also noticed that they are involved in playing outside a lot more in my groups than used to. People are buying, they can use school equipment, but they are buying their own paddles long weeks before the session is over. I've had 2 people buy nets and start playing at home with their kids in their driveways or whatever. So it is changing, it's growing, and they're locals. The ones I deal with are the locals. So that's really cool. The other thing I'm a little concerned about is that as the school population is growing with the kids, and they need more space for classrooms, I can foresee in the future that we may lose the chance of having the outdoor courts that we have. They may put something else there, modular classrooms or whatever. I don't know. That's been kind of floating out there. So that scares me because I think, well, that means that we all lose where we can play, other than when we can play inside through the adult ed. But that's only like twice a week, which isn't much. And it's a winter thing. It's good. So anyway, that's my 2 cents worth. And if you've never tried pickleball, it is so much fun. And the cool thing is it involves every age group, and you're meeting people that you otherwise wouldn't meet or have a chance to rub elbows with, and in a stressless atmosphere. So it's cool. Thank you. After that, I thought I should. Well, you don't have to tell the people. Oh, yes.
I'm Alita Jones, and I have joined the pickleball group in the last year. And I think it's a fabulous group of enthusiastic people who love the sport. And I thought I would never like anything as well as tennis. And when my friends in Bozeman, who I drive up and play with on Tuesday mornings, it used to be tennis. And one day I arrived and there was tape on one of the girls whose tennis court we used, tape for pickleball. And I said, "What is that?" And she said, "Well, the 3 of us have decided we're going to play pickleball." Well, I was outnumbered, so that's how I started pickleball. But anyway, I think it's a wonderful sport, and I have learned going down south in winter that that sport has just taken off, and they have turned a lot of the tennis courts into pickleball courts also, different colored paints. And those are always filled up. What? Wait.
You didn't do it.
I hope not. Well, I have a ball and paddle here. Anyone wants to play, like to see what it is. But I feel the great advantages that pickleball offers as far as getting, it's just, as you said, Patty, a game for all ages. I mean, I'm in my 80s and I feel I can play. And down in the desert, I play with people my age, and some of them are pretty good. And when our grandchildren and children came down to visit, all the girls wanted to play pickleball, and they picked it up right away, and they all left with someone's name that they were going to contact in their area. So it does have lots of advantages, and it's just a great family sport. And meeting new friends, as I said, all the kids had to write someone's name down that they're going to contact wherever they are. And it's such good exercise. Also, it's a simple, inexpensive equipment and easily carried in the car or wherever you go. And most people can learn the sport, and it's a sport that doesn't take a lot of time. We all like sort of golf, but that takes up a good bit of your time. And tennis, usually, to play a couple of sets. So I just really want to encourage pickleball development on the courts to be hopefully at Lions Park. Thank you.
So I'm hoping everybody got the handout that I had brought. This picture, this is where we're playing right now on the basketball courts. Did everybody get this? No? Yes? Yeah? No?
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
it's online. Oh, is it? Oh, sorry, it's probably online. I'm sorry. Okay. I just have to find it. Oh,
And yeah, this picture is what we want. This is what real pickleball courts look like. This is what dedicated pickleball courts look like. So this is our dream. Oh, thank you. And thanks to Mike and my husband Rich, we also did a layout of how we think the courts could go on that little triangular area where the dog park was going to be. And we think that we could get 5 courts in there, maybe 6, one down here if we could raise the money, but this is kind of what we're shooting for. And then I think you all have the map that shows the aerial view of where the courts will go, where the dog park was going to go. So what questions do you have for us? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We're anticipating, yeah, that's a good question, playing in both places. And the other reason too is that with the with good courts, with dedicated pickleball courts, you cannot shovel snow on that. And right now, we're playing on just bare concrete where we shovel the snow, we chip the ice, um, and in order to be able to play during the winter. That's how, yeah, yeah. Um, you do what you need to do. So we will be playing there in the wintertime.
There's only outdoor courts in town.
Right.
And is it cement and then some kind of a layer of something softer?
Yes, it's they call it post-tension cement, where it doesn't crack quite as readily as regular cement does. It's more expensive, but it'll last longer. And then they put down a layer of latex paint um, on top of that, and then the lines on top of that.
There's some traction on there.
Oh yeah, it's a little gritty. One of the things on the picture with the of where we're playing right now, there are old basketball lines on there, and some of them are really slick. And I'm surprised nobody has done a face plant yet, trying to move up to a ball and have your feet go out from underneath you. But the good courts have a little bit of grit, a little bit of sand in the latex paint.
And these wouldn't be enclosed at all. They would also be, the new development would still be outdoor.
It would still be outdoor, enclosed with a fence, but not enclosed. That would be awesome. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. We're hoping maybe the Madison Meadows might pony up for that. Yeah. That's another good question, and we thought about that. Usually we play pickleball in the summertime. We play in the morning, and before the bulk of the people get there. I think the Lions have also talked about not allowing trailers to park there, the boating. So, and when softball and baseball play, it's in the evening. So we're on a different schedule.
One of the things, okay, so because it'll be on town property, has this been approved through MMIA?
It's not against any of the prohibited uses.
Okay,
It's not a bouncy house or an MMIA pipe.
okay.
I hope. No MMIA pipe at pickleball courts. I know.
Is that?
And most of that's.
So insurance would cover it? Okay. And have you approached the golf course about using their tennis courts and putting in pickleball up there?
Oh, yes, we have multiple times over several years. So a little bit of history too with the tennis courts. The tennis association people raised the money to build those courts, all tennis money. And a couple of years ago, they also raised the money in order to have the courts resurfaced. So, and they have helped out the golf course when they've run low on funds. Um, so they have quite a feeling of ownership of those courts. And when we have asked them if we could put pickleball lines on there, it was a unanimous no. And we've asked for multiple years, and it's always been a unanimous no.
My last and final question is because if you are using the high school as and they're teaching pickleball and you're using it as an adult ed program, have you approached the school about putting in pickleball courts somewhere on school property specifically for your group? for your organization?
The continuing education classes are taught inside because they're taught in the winter. We have not talked to the school for the reason that Patty mentioned. The school is expanding, and we're concerned that either us or the school would spend a lot of money to put courts in and then realize they want to do teacher housing there instead. So we haven't approached the school. It would be a low priority when you think about it with what the kids need.
Yeah. Well, I was just wondering because if you're teaching younger kids and you said Mr. Koenig is the one that kind of started, they're teaching it in.
No, it was when Corey was the coordinator for the adult education program.
Oh, okay. Well, aren't they teaching it in
Not
phys ed or no?
It was
Not
last test on there.
So I teach at the school. My name's
Okay.
Shelby. Our
Sorry, Shelby.
Okay, my name's Shelby Zucker. I teach at the school. The gym teachers or not adult education, our physical education teachers have introduced it into their curriculum this year. It's something that they want to keep doing. I know the kids had a lot of fun with it when they got to play. I got to go help out with some of the classes this year. It was really cool. And they went outside and used the outdoor courts. They came inside and they did use the gym. But so it's up and coming with the school, with the kids part, but it's new as of this year getting the kids involved.
No worries.
So.
Just this spring.
Yeah, and just this spring, like they just ran it, I don't know, maybe 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago even.
And it was only for like 3 or 4 days.
Yeah, I think they did it. It was,
The intro to it.
yeah, they had 3 days of gym and then they ran the mile on one of the days in between. So.
They would rather play pickleball.
Yes, I think most of the kids would rather.
Yeah, I was gonna say me too. I think that's all my questions. Thank you, Shelby.
Any other public comments?
Okay. So, are you calling the vote?
No, after a public comment, then their last chance to discuss and then.
All right. Well, I have a little extra information that Julie reminded me of for Brandy about the courts at the school. We did, Lauren Cook is the guy who puts all the pickleball courts in and tennis courts in the area. And he came out to take a look at the courts at the school. And he said, you know, if I put a surface down here, it's going to crack. It's probably going to crack within a year because it's already cracked. The other problem that those courts have is that they're not sloped quite right for drainage. And folks in Sheridan they painted 2 pickleball courts on old tennis courts, and water got underneath it. Paint started peeling up and bubbling. It looks horrible now. So another reason that it's a no-go for the school.
Second call for public comment. Last call for public comment on pickleball court. Down at the Lions Club Park. Now we're at commission.
I move to approve. I move to approve proposal for pickleball courts as presented by the Lions Club.
Commission discussion.
I'm personally all for it, and maybe you guys can use some of this as not ammo, but to help the school with their expansion and the things that, you know, everybody doesn't want to pay the price, but maybe this could help bring it to the school board and maybe we can get some.
I have a question. Can I go play badminton on it?
No, we'll teach you how to play pickleball. No, Patty will.
I'm looking at you, Patty, right back there. I'm telling you. I think it's a wonderful idea, guys.
Any other
Great,
question?
and we're covered for any type of liability, then yeah, play pickleball.
All right, all about that.
Aye.
Play on.
Hold on, we need some more.
I can beat that. Sorry.
Aye.
Great. All right, on to after the wastewater, we said we can use our commission project for painting and doing the interior. We need to choose a date, because we're more on when we go paint together.
We're gonna do it.
Not next week.
Paint has been purchased. Yeah, we got the paint, we got that. Ready, we should power wash and go. Ready. Just a thought. I have my number, so we get rollers. Yeah.
I'll be there. Can we do it just like we would a work session, like another Thursday, the 22nd? Or do we need a daytime thing, or
It's
what?
up to you guys. We can do it Sunday afternoon. I think it's gonna take us like maybe 2 hours.
Okay.
Maybe. Your evening's probably good, Nikki, because it slows down. Plus it has overnight.
Yeah.
So you wanna do an evening?
I'm good with Thursday. What Thursday? The 22nd. Does that work? I mean.
That's not next week.
No,
That's-
the week after.
That works perfect for me.
All right, we will have a forum at the Lions Club Park Thursday, the 22nd.
You would jinx us, wouldn't you?
Oh. What do you have something? No, I can probably do 22nd.
Yes. Yes. Okay. So if the commission wants to do something else, they could feel free to do that. What?
So we have.
We had enough in the rest area. There's enough in there for the paint, so.
Was Karina saying?
You want to paint with us?
I have a really, really good idea. Remember the water bottle filling station? Could some of the, if we don't need it for the paint, we could use it for the water bottle filling station that we're wanting to do?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
I might be making something up. Didn't you say like we needed new rails or something?
We got
in there?
that.
Yeah, that's
Oh, okay.
on Nikki.
Oh, okay.
Got that figured out. We had enough for garbage cans and real.
Okay.
Paint.
Fancy.
Yep. And the Lions Club is super excited about you guys helping out with that, and doing that. And we wanted to offer to, we're all about cooking hot dogs, so we'll make you dinner. Okay. So,
All right, Thursday the 22nd, at least 6 rollers.
At what time?
What works for you guys, 6:30?
6:30 would be great.
6:30 in your paint clothes.
Oh yeah, thank you for mentioning paint clothes, yeah.
And are we all?
Bring your own beverage.
Well, let's.
I'll bring beverages.
Get a motion to the last one for the paint, can we just? Don't have to redo that. Okay, can we use our 600 towards water bottle station? Okay.
Yes.
Any objections?
Will it freeze outside? Is it something we have to
Well,
be worried about for
It
that?
has to be. We winterize it, just
Oh,
like
okay.
the water fountain that's out there, but the water fountain that's out. Water bottle fill station, we're at that now, instead of drinking fountain, so we'll just replace the drinking fountain. The water.
That'll be so nice for pickleball.
Like, how expensive are the water?
Like badminton.
$800, right?
yeah, they're coming in at like $1,500, so it'll be something the Lions Club is willing to help with as well. So we'll do a little joint venture on it. There was something else I was gonna say. Oh, Dave Haney, is it okay for me to mention Dennis? Well, one of the Lions members took it upon himself and has power washed the bathrooms. So it might need a quick over again because that was several weeks ago, but he was just like, oh, this really needs done. So he did it. So he went a little rogue. Yeah.
All right. Oh, I missed that. Sorry, Karen.
Yeah.
Karen, I got ahead of myself.
It's all right, I'm here.
So last call for the budget is stuff like our wish list. Okay, say your wish list.
Okay, so many years ago, I had approached the council and I would like the ability to either fundraise or purchase a piece of equipment to put in the Calmly Park that has been so degraded. I would like to buy one piece of equipment that could be used for all ages. I was thinking a rock climbing wall.
You need to really find some money for that. Like a grant and then look for matching funds. That we
Well,
can do.
I have an idea. No, not yet.
Have you talked with the Lions Club?
Lions Club members?
Is rock climbing walls are safer than bouncy houses? Yeah. That's why I mentioned. Oh, okay. Okay.
Is that on the hit list?
I think they're awesome, but I think.
I mean, there's still a season share and those are like.
Yeah, exactly. And
That's a good thing.
All right.
I know. I want to just update it a little.
Karen's wish list.
I have wish list items too, that are two wish list items if they don't work into the library budget. One would be a water bottle filler to replace our water fountain right now. They run anywhere from $600 to $1,200 to tear ours out and put a filler in. And the second item on my wish list is a new panel, a new fire panel. And we can get a comparable Edwards IO from $500 to $700. A panel, a fire alarm panel. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, the upgrade would be an equivalent, same brand. So we wouldn't have to replace all the hot shots in the rest of the building. It would just be a trade out for a newer model that would notify someone if things were to go south. Thank you. Yeah.
Well, I want a community center, but we all know how that goes. Yeah. That's a dream.
We do too.
Yeah.
So in your last email from MMIA, if you go through all the links and follow all the links, there's also a database for grants. And it is all US departments, from ag to this to that. I mean, it's all departments that you can search for grants for. So maybe you start looking, if you want your wish list items to come through, what grants are available and what matching funds have to be achieved.
Can I just throw in also the last 2 weeks at the library, Lindsay DeGroot and company, Heidi Wilson, have been holding focus groups they are wanting input of what Ennis would like in a community center. They still have opportunities to turn in a survey. I think their focus groups are over, but the questions are broad, such as what would you like to see in a community center? So they can round up all the information and gather partners. I still have the information at the library. If you haven't filled out the survey, they would very much appreciate it.
I have growth policy is something we need to have updated.
Wow, Corey.
Well, if you're gonna, I know it's boring. And tree board money. So, but our,
policy is due 2024, right?
I believe you get a new one every, is it 10? Yeah. So we'll be up for one of those.
Next year. It's the same year as government review. So we'll put those two together, because those will be professional service money. Growth policy and local government review. Okay, and tree board, but how much you want for tree board?
Like 3,000.
So needy. Okay, I got it. All right. Anything else? Nothing?
Some porta potties during the summer months at the park across from my home in Montana would be really nice. That would be nice, and it might take some pressure off the library too. Yeah,
Why?
really.
Everybody comes to.
I know. Yeah, that would be fabulous. But it would be really great if we could have something set up over. I mean, that seems to be the only place, not just because it's across from my home.
But it is.
I get asked all the time during the summer. Just a thought. I like it.
All right.
And maybe a water
Or
bottle.
you get a call porta potty company to see price range.
You get a call Spiffy. What do I'll call Spiffy 50.
Yeah, just call Spiffy Biffy and give me numbers.
Okay. On it. For all summer? Like 3 months? For the 120 days that we. Thank you. Labor Day.
All right, anything else? Oh, Karen.
We're good? Okay. Good. So things are very well. You have my report. I just want to, things are going very well. The transition into summer has been smooth. We are starting summer reading program June 16th. We already have over 100 kids sign up. We are ready to go. Friday programs and some extras here and there for all ages. We also have teen programs and adult reading this year. Coming up starting June 22nd is from Fibershed, Montana, a mending bar happy hour, creative mending. So when you all get, or when your teenagers get tired of the holy jean look, they can come learn how to creatively mend their jeans and redesign them into something else. It's actually great. They're doing a 4-part series with different textiles. So yeah, to repurpose things. It'll be good. Helen Harris will be leading those sessions. A couple plugs for the Friends of the Library. On June 24th, they have a fundraiser. It's actually in Disco Park in Virginia City. It's a big band jazz fundraiser. The Jazz Foundation from Jackson Hole will be coming over to perform to benefit the library. So we're really excited about that. They're a 20-piece band, and I think 12 of them are coming over. So it should be a great time. And there'll be food and drink set up on site. A huge thanks to our facilities folks. I know they're busy and understaffed, and everything looks great at the building. So Eric's not here, but I just want you to know what an amazing job they're doing out there for us. So biggest thing I want to share with you is that we have just received, our library has just received a $20,000 grant from the American Library Association, an accessibility grant. I first applied for it thinking about automatic doors, but it's a great opportunity to involve our community and let the community decide how we spend that money. So we'll be having some conversations probably in the late summer and early fall. So I'll be looking forward to all of your input on accessibility issues in the library. It was a very competitive grant. 100 of us across the nation got $20,000. And this is the first round. First round of that grant. So it should be in the paper next week. And I'll keep you posted as things progress because I might ask for some help with this one. Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Karen, is the survey still open?
And there, yeah, thank you. I think I have a mental block against this. Yeah, and our survey is still open for 2 more. I'm going to leave it open for 2 more weeks. We are soliciting input on what we can do better, what services we can provide. We're going to do some futuring for the next 5 years. So thank you to everyone who has responded to the survey. And if anyone here hasn't got a hold of one, I would love to hear what you have to say. We have them in the library and they're also online. I'd appreciate your input. Yeah, thank you. Any questions? Okay. All right. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, there's some interesting stuff on there.
It's summer, it's not to angry August yet.
Oh,
I felt like there was extra full moon or something, I don't know.
I like that our little town is concerned about suspicion. I do like that. Reporting suspicious stuff. Oh, there was another one too. Chicken and rooster complaint. What?
Well, read your town code, you can have
No, I
chickens,
know.
but
So
you can't have
what's?
roosters.
Well,
We don't want the great chicken fiasco whatever year.
I mean, I'd rather hear chickens than barking dogs all night long. Just me.
It's the rooster that's a problem. It's the rooster.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
They-
You have to live.
Is he chasing people or just being noisy?
They, they start crowing at 3:45 in the morning. So
All day. All right. Anything else?
I think that's what time it said on my clock.
Oh, he said he was going to today. I think he got tied up. Okay. We both read it, but. Well, then you don't get a report from Public Works.
Yeah, I saw him digging on First Street. Third Street. What? First. Where? Taking that antenna down? No. But actually. Yay, that's huge. And oh, yeah. Yeah. You know if it's on it's the walkway. There's that walkway. The first one issue. That's not good.
The flagstone needs to be set back down.
Is that?
I think it is.
I think we missed.
Coming in behind us.
But at a minimum, I think we did not.
It's so exciting to see you. I know, right? I've been to the dentist, so that's not always the funnest thing to do. So I'm actually giving you 2 months, because I wasn't here last month either. And it's been fairly busy. Sign permits been done too. Decks, celery buildings like storage sheds. 108 East Ennis, Madison, Mirza, North First, one on Fagan and one on Madison, so 6. 5 fence permits. The zone site permit for Madison Foods Fuel Island. The staff report's done and will be going out probably tomorrow. Correct. The Madison Foods T&D and the zone site, that's all complete. The Ennis School duplex is also complete. We've got just a brief email from the Riverside just letting us know that they're looking into their next move, and that's pretty much all it said. So they're still kind of lurking in the shadows somewhere. There's been some sign compliance issues that I've dealt with. And I'm sure as all of you see, Madison Foods has started their dirt work. And there is some question, and I don't know if it's in Nikki's report, on the 1 mile. In our code, it says we have extraterritorial jurisdiction for the 1 mile radius. It's never historically been done, but there was a good conversation with Forrest about it, and if it's in there, I guess there's been some issues come up where they question whether we should be doing it or not, or they want us to do it. And so if it's, since it's in our pardon? Yes. Yeah, so it's just something that we need to probably look at. If we're not going to enforce it, then we probably need to think about having James remove it. So that's just something to keep in mind. And then another thing that I've been doing, I did the jury questionnaires this last month. They all went out. Everyone's always thrilled to get those. And I also got sent out 3 letters. So they did for us this year. Any questions?
Who is?
Did you get one? Oh. Oh. I don't want to. Yep. Right? So we should be. Hopefully, I mean, they're pretty important that they go out, not only because we were really getting a good handle on noxious weed, mostly napweed, but there's a lot of it in town. And also it's a fire hazard if the lots next to you get up to do that. So, yeah, it's a nice list. Yeah, fun. Critters, yeah. Anything else? What were you saying?
So the Riverside, that's Jan Genera, again, with all that area to the north of the motel.
It was, and he did send it, and I was surprised to get it from him because we kind of got the indication at the last meeting that he was kind of tapping out. How many, like, per month would you say, how many permits are you, like, roof building permits are you putting without pick up on the SBSC? I mean, there's no, in the last 2 months, Excuse me, Family Dollar that do? Is there something going on? Well, that's part of the Nelson. That is part of time. Oh, and so he sells it to. You have to do one, I have to do one that he's like out of there. Yeah, do all the different parts. I remember somebody said something to me about it. So I just thought I would.
That's what I
Yeah.
thought.
I think it's more folders there. Okay, so I was just wondering.
That is still hers until she sells it to.
Yes.
Okay. David. Just curious.
The residential housing, the residential housing permits is public information.
Oh, absolutely. Anything that's filed in here is public
So
information.
the fences and the sheds and stuff are also filed through your office.
They are,
Get
and
your
that's
approval.
also, yep, and they're public information also.
We have a request for them. All right, anything else for Suzie? All right. Then clerks.
Okay, I didn't get to my written, so, my regular duties that you guys are used to seeing on that report. And then I have been working on this rest area year-end final, so that we know where we're standing. I spend everything for it needs to finish that money for fiscal year end. And, heavy on budget. And Nikki will probably cover some of this. Have you got this in yours? If you can go for it. Nikki and Eric and I met the other day on budget. Got ways with it, I think. Made some good headway, so we'll set up another meeting. Eric's still pretty new to it. So, he's asked for help, and I think he made a lot of headway the other day.
And his department has more sections to it than anybody else. He's got water, wastewater, streets, and then parks also falls in it, so, yes. It feels like he gets an unhealthy share of budget items that he has to figure out, so we're chunking away at his, and John's, already got his two in there.
Yours is in, I think yours is about ready.
Okay.
Actually.
And are we still gonna have
Library
a
and,
work session?
waiting on some final insurance costs to come in, like our liability is based on this year's wages. That's how liability is billed out, it's wages. And then our property insurance, and I haven't gotten, the full list on that yet, so that I can break it out in departments. So, and once those come in, all those employee benefits, which health insurance, wages, and then the other insurances. Those are our biggies to get in primarily, and then, of course, we will have to go backwards if we don't know how much money we're gonna have until sometime in September. So then we'll start working backwards to see if we need to cut or add, or if we can add monies or what have you. I had intended to have financials out to you guys tonight, and that got away from me. So I've got that on my notes for tomorrow. I'm gonna put it up on your communication or engaging packets. If there's if there's something that you see in there that you don't understand or, want to know more on, give me a call. I'll be happy to explain it or sit down with you guys at any time. I think that's it. You can work out that.
There's a, the Public Works Department is preparing a mail out, has prepared a mail out that will be going out next week, relating to all of your water surface lines. So anybody that lives in town, if you have any questions when you get that letter, give us a call. It's pretty self-explanatory. Maybe even too much detail. We've done that. Can't think of anything else that's special or extraordinary.
Well, that was the less service line inventory that we talked about, where everybody in the country gets to do it. Yay for everybody. You have to identify your lines, and if they're gone as unidentified, they assume that they're bad and that they have to be replaced.
It's going on all of the property owners, not necessarily the tenant. It is the owner's responsibility to provide the information, ultimately to make any changes that would be required. It's pretty difficult in the database to know exactly whether there's an improvement on the lot. So you may have a lot in town and there's nothing on it, and you may get one of these letters. Doesn't apply to you. You don't have to do anything. You may have a lot in town and there's a mobile home on it. As long as there's water service, it applies.
All right, legal. James, you got anything new and exciting?
Pickleball.
That's it?
Pickleball. It's been outlawed in many countries because it's extremely hazardous. Actually, I'm only kidding.
Is he really somewhere sunny?
I wanted to ask if anybody, if the pickleball advocates are still there, if they know the meaning of how it was called pickleball.
Apparently they do.
Yes.
Yes, it's not the dog.
How did they come up with pickleball?
Oh, Julie.
Not saying.
What is it?
Does anybody know?
There's two stories. The first one that
Okay.
The original story in the 1960s, an older fellow created the game with his family. He named the game after his dog, who was Pickle. And part of the court is called the kitchen, and he called it the kitchen because the dog was not allowed in the kitchen. Story number 2.
Yes.
Next.
So the story, that's partially correct. According to Wikipedia, John Pritchard, who later became elected to the House of Representatives and Lieutenant Governor of the state of Washington, he created the game with his children. They were kind of bored and they didn't really have all the rackets and everything. And they started with a wiffle ball and table tennis rackets, ping pong rackets, and then later made the custom paddles in his workshop. But the name Pickle, the dog was named after the game. And in fact, the pickle boat, a pickle boat, is a boat that the scullers use when they're rowing out there in the bay in Seattle and Vancouver Bay or Puget Sound. And they have those sculls, the crew boats. And so when the crew is picked for one particular boat, and then there's a bunch of leftover guys, they put together a boat with the leftover guys. They pick up the leftovers. Pick up then becomes pickle, pickle boat then became pickleball. It's an interesting story. But as far as your legal highlights are concerned, I understand that there's been some solicitation going on in town, not prostitution, solicitation, like panhandling. Okay. So, and there's some concern for that, and there is a way of regulating it. I received a draft of a ordinance. It's a model code that's designed to handle and regulate aggressive panhandling. And I don't know if Chief John Moore has distributed that to the mayor, to the commissioners, but I just received it about an hour ago, just before this meeting started. I reviewed it. It looks very, very good, well intended to offer some sort of a solution. As you may know, freedom of speech, freedom of assembly, right to be on, public places. I mean, there's so many freedoms that are involved in attempting to regulate a person who's simply asking for a charitable contribution. But when it crosses the line and becomes the nature of some sort of, aggressive behavior or trespass, maybe, disruptive of a public space or impeding passage on a public right of way, then it's something that can be regulated. So that might be something for the commissioners to take up in your legislative session. Other than that, I'm still waiting to hear about the legislative updates, what may have been or may not have been signed into law across the governor's desk. I was particularly concerned about those additional dwelling units, that zoning law update, and I'll just try to follow up on that, maybe get you some information as that comes up. There's a zoning case that's pending. I don't want to get into any names. I don't want to discuss, pending litigation, but there is a zoning case that's coming up in our courtroom on the 12th, and that has something to do with a zoning violation and display of a commercial sign off premises. So that's something that's, going to be litigated. Maybe perhaps we'll get that resolved without, a trial and without too much effort, but we'll see. So that's about what I have for you guys on the legal end tonight.
James, I'll forward you the summit information, and I want to say Livingston is July 20th. And was Kelly there for it? Anyway, they were giving the final legislative updates at those summits if you want to go.
I would definitely try to make that happen. I saw an email message about that. I wasn't really sure what they were going to be doing on that. I wasn't sure if it was like more municipal trading, but if it's the legislative final updates, then yes, I definitely look forward to getting that information from you, and I'll schedule to be in attendance.
All right. I think I'm going to Livingston in July as well. So I'll send you that information.
All right. Thank you very much.
Your population, what they did decrease, the size, I think it's 5,000 for the dwelling unit for acre size, for lot size. I think you're right. It was the larger, the class one. It doesn't affect us. Yeah, it's 5,000. Yeah.
James, can you speak about the extraterritorial jurisdiction of the town? This 1 mile circle around the town that I guess Forrest brought it up in a training on Tuesday, and it came up in Susie's report tonight as well.
I'd love to speak intelligently on that topic. Most of what Susie presented this evening, I wasn't able to hear because the microphone was kind of off access, so I didn't really catch all of what she was talking about. But if you send me that information, Corey, I'll be happy to follow up on it and then get you guys a more informed opinion on it. Does that sound fair?
what is it?
Your mic's
11?
not on.
It keeps going dead, so that's the cool part of it tonight. Checked it, this seems
Oh, do you want mine?
dead.
I just don't wish you.
Oh, hi James, I'm still in Corey's microphone. So, 11-4-20 is what I recall from my conversation. Says that Ennis's planning jurisdiction is within 1 mile. And so we've never actually done any reviews of anything outside our boundary. And because it's there in the code, we should. But we have a little bit of panic about how much staffing ability we have for that extra mile. So thoughts on keeping that or how you enforce that, or I don't know. That's a can of worms.
So that's in your town code. Let me just grab that real quick then.
Oh, reading it? Oh, grab it.
I would mostly just with this. I didn't want you to get.
Yes, I need new batteries. I've rolled them a couple times. Hands off.
You have mine, I never say anything anyway.
What'd you say? 11, what did you think?
11-4-20.
Sorry. It's also a week long conversation from over a week ago, so.
It might not be there.
So where does it mention the 1 mile? That's what I'm looking for. Yeah.
Susie's gonna send it.
Send that to me so that, and then, like I said, I'll get back to you guys on that.
Perfect, thank you.
All right.
What else you got for you? Anything? That one, okay. Commission. Right?
This past Tuesday afternoon, we had planning board training here with Forrest Mandeville presenting. Went for a few hours or so. There were 8 people total, 5 planning board members were in attendance, 2 were not. But I think we gained a lot of good information. And this extra territorial, 1 mile outside the city limits business. Got a lot of questions this time. Answer, but he did a pretty good job of running down, how meetings are conducted, and just make sure that, email traffic and text messaging, do's and don'ts. And I think it was a really good meeting for planning board members, especially ones that are new to all of this stuff. Went well.
Are you ready to organize the first planning board? Because at some point you probably have to have the board together. You guys need to pick a chair.
Yes, we do, and a secretary for taking notes, that sort of thing. We haven't quite gotten there yet, but that's
Okay, just let me know and I can get stuff posted legally by all the criteria that you learned about. All right. Anything else? Anything exciting? Okay.
Bathrooms and fixing sidewalks, things I get asked about.
Okay.
I've actually had 2 people approach me. This probably isn't the time or the place, but because Eric's not here. But 2 people approached me wondering about the antenna on the corner of Conley and Armitage. I believe it's no longer being utilized, so it could get pulled down. I will also follow up with Eric.
At the park. I'm pretty sure the antenna transmits the pump information to our center.
I've asked him 3 times and he said it's not doing anything and they don't need it anymore.
I was there during that meeting when he said it.
Right?
I was there.
Okay. So it may be, that may be correct.
You should
And
have seen
also
how
the-
giddy she got when he said it out loud.
Okay.
And like I said, Eric questioned, but I'll ask him.
Anything else? We haven't had library boards.
Not yet, tomorrow. Yep.
Tomorrow. Oh, that's right. We're off today.
Well, I'm gonna look into the grant thingy, 'cause I've been working on that playground for a while. And hey Karen, 'cause you mentioned something about accessibility grant that you were just awarded for 20,000. Is it possible for you guys to move your sandwich board out of the sidewalk and onto the grass so that wheelchairs can get to the library? That's the only thing I've heard. That's all I got.
Good. Yep.
Yeah, I also was in attendance with the planning board meeting with Forrest, and that guy is he's a state senator actually, so he writes legislation for the state of Montana. One of the laws, he actually passed a law this year, correct me if I'm wrong, that one that I know of. And that one I found interesting. It was talked about pulling board members from possibly like a planning board that could come and you would have to vote them into the position, but they can be on our zoning board of adjustments. So you can have zoning board of adjustments members on the planning board as well. You can combine members.
You have to very specifically read that and class size to it too. Because that was at the summit as well, and it was very specifically talking about like larger cities now don't have to have the two class 1 and class 2 cities, don't have to have 2 different boards. It doesn't actually, that particular one didn't affect small towns. You know, that's what I remember from that one when I followed up.
But they should make it complicated for the little guys.
I mean, if you guys are reading that type of stuff too, Ennis is a third-class town. No, we're not classified as a city, we're a third-class town.
Yes.
And we want to stay that way.
Yes.
Yeah.
For lots of reasons.
For lots of reasons.
I always correct people, we are not a city
Third class
town.
Sounds so weird when you put it like that, just third class.
Third class. I know.
That's low.
It's almost like poverty.
I don't know, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe it is too.
We're good with that.
It's we're a third grade.
All right.
I guess one other item Forrest was kind of complaining about our town map that we have, and
Yes.
did we not do that in the master plan?
It would have gone through the new zoning authority. That never happened.
Okay, but we have a map that was drawn up regardless in the master plan, or am I? No. Okay.
So do we put that in the budget?
Yeah.
Or how do we?
It might work in with, we should talk to Eric. Because it actually might work in with his GIS.
Yes.
That he's working on.
Didn't Mark Odegaard have a town map when he was doing, remember that guy?
Yes.
He's- Yeah, probably have to have an updated one at that point. But a growth policy does cost like $25,000 to $30,000 to facilitate. I think at least maybe 30 to 35. I can't remember. I had some actual figures
How
on
do we budget that then if it happens, if it has to happen every 10 years?
somebody writes a grant, maybe.
So we should get working on that, or we don't worry about that until we get closer to 2024?
Also, I attended the annual Lions Club party last night. I was invited, and I thought that was a pretty awesome little get together. It kind of gave me a renewed sense of faith in society. I mean, you guys were all super positive and making little lion noises at one another. I thought that was,
table were you at?
Or mine.
Sure. No, I would.
Amazing too. He called just to say like, it was an amazing, amazing fair.
Uh,
Yeah, it was a hoot. Yeah, it was a hoot. I had dressed and everything and I ended up like in the dark corner with the head. We missed you. And I was like, I have the shoes, I have the gloves, I have the It's just sitting there. I almost called Corey to see if he wanted to wear my outfit.
I thought he did.
Good one. Yeah, right. What else? My lawn is over the acceptable height limit. It's just full disclosure. It'll be taken care of tomorrow. The one thing that Dave brought up was that the men's urinal, I wrote this down after, but the men's urinal at the Lions Park is missing like a divider. So, okay.
That's in our repairs list.
Other than that, I think that's it.
That's all you got?
Hmm.
All right, so on mine, most of it was budget, trying to finalize things for publication for the paper for the legislative session. Citizen communications. Mostly that comes down to when there's permits that are issued or not issued. Then I get to have conversations or just random phone calls. I do kind of like the new phone system because when they leave a message, it gives me a full text of what's going on, so I don't miss anything. So I'm just saying that's in there. Scheduled the library for July. I have to look for the floodplain meeting.
Oh.
So I let Cody know that that's on and ready to go. She's in communication with the county, so we're finalizing who's paying for what for the floodplain administration in those meetings. Cody from Great West. And then Owen from Habitat. We'll call. Maybe we'll call. So I'm in contact with them. They approached the county originally for help with CDBG. I feel like I'm saying some hot letters. It's not CDB development block grants. So it is CDBG grants. So they approached the county but the Habitat houses and projects are here within city limits. So scheduled them for July. We also contacted Greg Erickson from Great West and put together a bullet point and everything that's going in your packet for administration of those grants and what all the requirements are. It's cool. It's also a lot more work.
If the town, may I think?
Yes.
If the town were to take it on and sponsor the grant for Habitat for Humanity, then we would have to administer that grant. And I have done a CDBG grant administration before, and it is quite a bit of work. And my real worry with it is, I would have to rely on them to feed me all the information I need. And I don't trust that, with just what I've seen to date.
Is that for the two that have already been?
No, they have 10 lots. 10 still left over there, Sue, or 8? 8 left? 8 left. So they have a total of 10 lots. I think they got 4 and 4.
Well, they can't finish the two they started.
Anyway.
So that's where that was, it's in the initial, I didn't want to put it to this meeting because I didn't feel that we had all the information ready for that, so. I'm trying to get you guys as much information, so you guys can start Googling and mass hunting those grants, and it's a lot more complicated than I give it credit for, so. Anyway, just getting these guys together, that, and mostly that budget items, and working on budgets. Oh, and I've contacted the sheriff's office.
For the MOU?
Yes.
For what?
The MOU that expires at the end of this month, I have not heard back on a date for me, because they wanted both Duncan and Craig there. So, and one's at training and then the other one's at training. Those two never are in the same room at the same time. So I'm trying to get all 3 of us together in the same room at the same time. So that's where that's at.
So what happens if it expires? Is it null and void, or does it continue the way it has been?
Well, yes and no. Yeah. We need to have it before budget's up. That's the important part, is because that's the big number is.
And that.
Because as it is, it's based on mill side.
November or October.
Yeah.
To finalize budget.
That's what I know. And that's also in the budget stuff, is we ran numbers for more overtime, because that was to try and help out with the county guard, so we budgeted for more overtime for both of our officers, and then budgeted again to see with and without a cost grant if we can add another officer. So lots of numbers thrown back and forth.
To be completely without the sheriff's department in our county, or how? What?
You would need what, 5 without overtime.
Right, yeah, I
So-
believe so. That, and they do have a duty to the town of Ennis.
Okay. So,
That's requirements.
okay. So third officer would be for just another shift?
Yeah, probably the next part would be the Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday nights portion. But you look at our report, and again, like 58 calls during the day and 9 at night, if you look at John's report, last report, so. Our numbers are still really heavy during the day.
And sheriff's patrol at night, right?
So anyway, waiting on a date from sheriff's office for the MOU. That's what I got.
I'm just tardy, so did you set a date for?
Oh, I have that on my unscheduled matters.
Oh, okay, sorry. Go for it.
Okay. So next item, unscheduled matters. Any items not listed on the current meeting agenda with purpose to be for discussion. Fuel islands. You have to pick a date for review.
For what, Nikki? I missed.
Major site, or just, it's not major, is it? Major site plan? Major site plan review of the fuel islands.
Now that we have a planning board, are they going to be able to help us make this decision?
It was submitted before them. I'm sure if you ask Craig and those people, they would love to make public comment.
Yeah, can they
Sure,
all show
why
it, please? That'd be great. If,
The planning board only makes recommendations.
Yep.
Yeah.
Is that to schedule a work session? Or to schedule a review, or schedule what? What's it called now?
However you want to do it.
We do have to advertise in the paper.
Yeah.
So we have to take that into consideration.
So it's just like the grocery store was a major site plan review, so is the fuel island, so it goes under the same publication notice where it needs to be in the paper 2 times before So the earliest.
Can it go out till like August?
20, the earliest we could even do it would be the week of the 28th.
Let's push it out till August. That way it might not be as great now.
I don't think that's fair to applicants to wait that long.
I want people to actually show up this time.
I know, but we still have a duty, when we have an application, we have a duty to hear it. Even if you do a work session first or something, but to put it out 2 months, just so it's not busy, I don't think it's acceptable. That's my opinion.
I know the 13th and the 27th are full with 5 public hearings, and those we've been working on since October of last year. So I feel like the town has waited their turn and done multiple reviews of all kinds of conditions. So I will not budge as far as those 2 meetings are entirely full for public hearings. July 13th and 27th. Because that's 5 public hearings already on matters that we've
So can we
tried
do
since October.
After that.
like a work session prior to that or something to?
Sorry,
So that's
I say no. 2 meetings a month is enough.
what?
What are even the opportunities for that prior to the 13th? Between now and the 13th, right?
Well, let's see.
What's even available?
The night we're painting.
No, what'd you say was the
Right,
earliest,
so
the
that's,
28th?
what I'm getting at is probably gonna be after those meetings in July.
When was it submitted?
When was the application submitted?
For the fuel pumps.
Yeah,
Because
for
it
the
wasn't
fuel
for the,
pumps.
it wasn't when, with the other Mike's site plan.
It was right after that, but it's gone through, I know, it's gone through, Forrest has done the staff report, so there was questions that he come up, I can send it all to you if you want, I mean, questions that came up that he wanted answered before he was doing the staff report. So we've gone back and forth in that process. So
Well, I think they just have to wait till we're available, right? I mean, maybe not, I don't know.
So you've published in the paper and you can't, because of those dates, you can't meet before June.
No, we haven't. We have not published anything in the paper. I'm saying today is Thursday. I mean, I guess you could have a public notice out tomorrow to the Madisonian. Maybe.
What's about the Wednesday?
So you can't have a meeting before the 21st. The only thing that you have available is the last week of June. Or not the 4th of July. Sorry, it's not happening.
Or the week.
And that was if you had 3 meetings.
Yeah.
3 times your.
I say no, I'm not.
Painting.
I think 2 work sessions or 2 works, a work session and a meeting every month is plenty. I think they can wait.
So that's where it's at. It'd have to be the very first week in August. But yeah, July and the 13th and the 27th are full. Unless you want to be here till 1 o'clock in the morning.
No, please.
So they're gonna vote in August, or is that just a work session?
Work session. Right. Unless it goes on the agenda.
August work session is budget. So it's got to be the August meeting. So if you have questions, concerns before then, I
Better
would
be ready.
work session it ahead of time.
So we'll have to vote on August 3rd?
I mean, the other thing you can do is do July 27th. You will have had the majority of your public comment on all of your legislative items within the first public hearing. See what I'm saying? So all of those ordinance changes will have 2 hearings. So it may be less time consuming on the July 27th, and you could have it as a 6th public hearing option.
That's what you.
I guess I'm just curious what is the discussion gonna consist of? Like, do we need to have, I did speak to the fire marshal last night about it, and I can't remember what he said actually, but something that suggested it was,
Point of clarification, is that the fire
Oh.
marshal? Whatever questions you ask, or whatever you discuss,
yeah.
you need to do all your research, right?
Chief.
Fire marshal, big bucks.
Any more detailed information since the last meeting that we had?
Just a
Susie's sending the
location.
staff report out
Oh,
tomorrow.
okay. Well, then we take it from
So
there.
that's
Oh,
the
we need a
start.
date tonight, is that?
That's my smartest.
So basically at that point, so Forrest sends out his staff report tomorrow, and then we all read that and call Forrest out with questions. That's basically what. And then we have to have 2 public hearings prior to voting on it though?
No, it's just a major site plan review. But you have to have 2 postings in the paper.
But last time, I think it was Madison Foods, and there was so many questions that I thought we decided that you do a work session before you have to vote.
Which I think is a good idea. I think that's a really good idea.
Right, because technically that's the only time you can sit here and discuss it,
Yeah.
so.
So a site review work session.
Yes.
Do we have to pick,
Dates.
do we have
No
to-
dates.
I guess
I mean, honestly.
I'm just curious how we don't have like what is a reasonable time where I'll just say, I don't think this is reasonable, or you're suggesting that we need to squeeze this in before then because it's not reasonable to wait that long. I mean, ultimately, what is reasonable?
But the reality is like July is full.
Yeah.
July is very, very full.
In more than just this.
Yeah.
So
So what's our obligation? What's reasonable?
Well, the timeframe that when, gosh, I can't even think, like, it was normally about 6 weeks. When we got the application to when it went before the council. Who was it for us? I can't remember.
But that was just finished up, correct? You're just about done.
The staff report just got done.
Okay,
Yeah, so
so we're 6 weeks out from, no, we're more than that. We're about 8 weeks, but.
it doesn't matter to me. I'm just saying, we just can't keep putting it on the back burner because we don't want to do it. That was my only point.
No, we have an obligation to do it.
We have to, but
Yeah.
Well, it sounds to me like we would want to, what I hear is that everyone would be more comfortable with that work session. Voice, discuss, and have discussions, concerns and so on. That's what it sounds like.
it's a quick work session,
Do you have to post for a work session,
just normal postings.
which is once?
It's not,
Just at the library here, Maria. Okay, on the website.
So can you do a work session prior to the meeting on August, whatever date?
the 1st of August, the first one, first.
I don't know.
Whatever, Thursday of August.
So the second Thursday.
Thank you.
That's a regular meeting.
Right.
Yeah. So that would be when we would have it on for vote. So we need to find some time between now and August 8th to have a work session.
And so our regular dates in July are still 22nd of this month. is what we're thinking. So it's not gonna be on a Thursday, like a second or normal meeting Thursday. The work session would have to be on some other day of the week. Or on a Thursday, but in between. We're talking about the third, right? Thursday, the work session and vote on the 10th.
Do you have to post twice in the newspaper for the vote?
Yes.
Okay.
What if, so we have public hearings, you could do work session after the meeting on the 27th, make it a long night, I don't know. I don't know how you never know how public hearings are gonna go. And we've got streets, snow removal, marijuana, I mean, some of them were pretty straightforward. Repeal and replace camping and watering, those are all of our public hearings.
In
That
July.
are part of the 13th.
Because they all have to have two. The 13th will have have a regular meeting like tonight's, but the 27th won't have anything else. So, no.
And you're gonna set that up as a special meeting so they can vote on the 27th, correct?
Yeah.
Besides,
Also, guys, don't forget, I mean, keep in mind that you're looking at a budget work session in August.
Yeah.
At some point.
So
Anything works for me.
August 3rd, it's a Thursday.
Oh,
for the work session?
Yeah.
One of two work sessions. So we're gonna be,
Right,
Yeah.
the special work session.
And the other one is discussion and vote.
and then the 24th will be budget, August. Yes. All righty. Rock and roll. A lot going on in our town.
third class.
Third class, yeah.
All right. Claims.
Uh-huh.
August 3rd for work session. August 10th for public hearing or major site plan review vote. What we got? Hey, guys, Ginger's bringing food on the 3rd. What do you want?
On the 3rd?
Whatever that bread was that you made the last time. That like banana bread or whatever it was you made the last time. Zucchini bread or something?
It was zucchini bread. I don't think that's all you need to survive a work session.
Speak for yourself. That stuff was amazing.
All right. Claims.
Move to approve. Claims.
Brandy moves to approve claims.
Second.
I had a question. What is the Montana Broom and Brush library supplies of $474.18?
Toilet paper and paper towels.
I know I'm retarded. Does that come out of our budget or the library budget?
That's our budget.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
For all visitors, they come in and use our bathrooms.
No worries.
There.
Is it cheaper?
Vote. Got it. Okay. That's my one question.
All right, where was I? I think you're up.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye. Move to adjourn.
Second.
All right.
Aye.
Hi. Corey. Okay. I would like to request batteries. I was just asking questions. I don't know if I really want them or draft beer, please. Thank you guys. Really appreciate it. Thank you. We'll have to go play.
No, we maneuver around urban obstacles basically. So trees, rocks and whatever. So yeah. The whole strategy is to make people work as hard as possible. Maybe have some fast sections, a few longer sections, but you gotta keep the race like between maybe 5 and 10 minutes per lap is kind of some guidelines that we utilize. But no, we work around. People put it on in golf courses. I used to do 2 races in Butte. Bozeman has a couple. One out of the community garden, Rocky Creek Farms, and then Lindley Park has a Wednesday series around that park. You know, they do skate skiing out there as well. So Nordic. So, yeah, no, it's no, not at all. No way. No issues at all. I think it's great, and I'm pretty stoked that kids are getting into this too. That was going to be one of my suggestions. Is that we're doing a lot of stuff for adults, but then children. But I mean, if that's killing 2 birds with 1 stone, that's fantastic. Yeah. Cool. Thanks for presenting.
I think that's gonna be the real. Okay. If you just want to run it in more. I'll come run it so we get it all good. How are you? Oh, Karen, thank you again for the look at the grandma's. Okay, great. Yeah, definitely. I see space. I don't know exactly why or what. Somebody is
But, for what? I don't know. I'm just hoping it's so here's
we missed you, that's all. No worries. There's flies every day.
no, they gotta be like.
Man. Well, this is the leftover girl. I couldn't figure out how to. I was watching, you put a video of the squirrel and the lake.
A lawsuit.
So excited. I was shocked. Yeah, everything was so much fun. It was so much fun.
For the RV park, they call for us stuff, and I want the answer to be no. How do you write that? He says, so he told me that. I honestly, planning board. I seriously, either that or there's a lot of white noise. Everything but I always have a hard time. I figured that.
Hand down out of my track. You got foot. You got foot. I like drifting.
Dave wasn't even ready, so so I would say then, sort of like, say yes.
So where is that? And when is that? And yeah. Oh yeah, freshman prom. They probably don't know that because they're dirt work people on Ennis.
All right, night, everyone.
Good night.
See you,
Good
Corey.
night, Corey. See, I was ready with the one up. I'm glad that you asked that question.
So
I was
it's not like,
living the dream.
really just the radius.
Yeah.
It's 1 mile from
I
the town border. I don't think we should. So we haven't used it or enforced it. Like I said, yeah, it's like they can have a-
Yeah, that's why I wanted to finish the last meeting. So, yeah, we if those people like Airbnb and everything that when I read it. Exactly. And that's why we love that website. Maybe we can take a couple of times. Oh, wow. You love me all the way up. You tried to avoid that.
So why do you want to get rid of it? When do you, it's not gonna be those instances, I think.
Exactly. And it's been, we've been kind of using it when they have. I'm glad that you were able to get the information. I find out going on. Yeah, I was really sad. I really had every intention of going, but I threw my back out on like in my back out. Yeah,
That's like, yeah, I almost called the paramedics for an EMT. I was like, I don't think there's the hospital, the PT center, the upstairs, the nursing home, looking for a wheelchair. And I couldn't get one. Well, I can't even walk to my bathroom. I can't call to my bathroom. I'm like, honey, just drag me. Just drag me to the bathroom. And so I've had like the last week off. And she called me today, she's like, do you think we can work on it? I'm like, give it a shot.
So, you weren't there in
Oh, Mindy didn't show me.
in fact, you sent me an email and said, you know, did a post of things or e-com or something. As far as I know, well, you had an e-copy, obviously, because we presented. But I didn't. But I have a hard copy. I think.
Well, if I submit it, I can put it.
I have another copy.
Okay, I'll just drop it off at this house right now. I'll just, just swing by and be like, hey, now.
You sent me an email.
Yeah, I drive right by his house.
I grabbed one for you, one for
Jerry?
Jerry was there. Actually, Corey was there.
Yeah, Corey was there.
And he brought it. Yeah. Well, who are you? Not playing more than I can.
Yeah, I've looked at his names a few times and they're going, so whose handwriting is that? He's like, no, that's not yours. He's like, oh, it's my friend, but I've been Susie, I've been Julie, I'm like, I just, we don't know what. And I was like, that is,
So everybody should have, well, except for everybody else should have gotten it. And so I mentioned it to everybody. Jerry came back. Maybe I misspelled something.
no, it should be, what's Jerry's last name?
Well, he uses Willie's.
I know he does. Okay, so it would just be JERRY.
According to the chief of all of planning board.
That's true. Not my butt.
They're using.
All right, ladies, have a good night.
Is using their first initial and
The
then last,
last name, okay,
just in brand verse of what.
gotcha. Okay, good night. Good night.
So they should, something should be, that flagstone business that you're talking about, that's not that much really. The fact that there's more there that needs to actually be put down because
Have you filed? I'm asking aggressively.
I don't know, I don't know. I haven't decided. I'll wait till after the August 3rd.
The filing deadline is the 19th of this month. This month.
I don't actually know.
Okay, what were you asking me?
Oh, the flag. The amount of flags
Yeah.
they pulled out of there is actually less than what he.
So that's, you know, changed it. And, yeah, so, I don't know. I heard it was town responsibility.
I would think so, because it's on this side of the.
But he didn't know that they didn't get any. Here's the thing. That's private property.
It has, but
Josie, the gal who bought the building, but she said that's town's responsibility.
I don't think so.
Which, I mean, honestly, I don't know. I mean, town busted it up to fix the,
It's an emergency.
yeah, okay.
I mean,
I think that's why I asked, but Nikki will look into it, but, yeah. I think, because did he get any permit to fix that whole thing? Because
our chamber meeting, Gretchen said, always, I cleaned out behind the store, which is the trash cans in the chamber behind the store. And she says, why don't you, Josie was my sister, access? I go, she better put a fence up if she minds. That's a, yeah. Yeah. Well, I don't think she'll have it. But somebody needs to, it needs to get done. We've got, yeah, you don't want to walk through. And we don't want it like that, yeah. Then, you know, if she gets a letter saying this is your responsibility, well, then it's on her. If it is town, we need to cover that up or move those stones, make sure nobody's tripping. She said that she didn't. I didn't hear it, so I don't want to say she said that.
Somebody went in there, like, if I went in there.
Yeah, I'm good.
And I did it, and she didn't like it.
Oh.
So it's gonna be a problem.
Oh, yeah, don't touch it.
That's what I was going to.
Yeah, I didn't think so. I gotta move my car, Nikki's studying.
So you're moving around, are you feeling better now?
I have to, considering I have to feel better considering I don't get a day off. Considering the whole reason the boss was like, she gave me extra time off, because I was like, no, I need you to get rest, because next week, you're late. And then everyone, wait, what? She's like, yeah, Karina won't be here, Blaine won't be here, so you'll be working doubles for the week. I'm like, that's why I was like, well, we can't do anything next week. Better not make it next week, because there won't be attending. What? Yes, I do. You've only been doing it for a couple of months.
I know, but it feels like.
Forever?
Yeah. Oh, here's something else. I know you're ready.
Oh, no way.
So one of the things with this planning board is, I'm the chairman, right? So I'm kind of like, you know, Nikki runs the meeting for the commission.
Yes.
I'm kind of running the meeting.
Okay. Okay.
Which is fine, except we need to take notes. So there needs to be somebody designated as the secretary.
Yes. No, other girl, but yeah. I think she would be a good one, wouldn't she?
But I could certainly, right?
No, you can send them a group email.
One of the things important.
No running
Don't
meetings.
reply to all.
Yes, no running meetings. Yes. It's one of the things, the first things I learned when I went to Gillen, when I was with a bunch of attorneys. There were lots and lots of rules. That's why I was like, don't look at your phone. Because if you're caught on your phone, they can confiscate it and it becomes their property.
So we had that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
So right at the end of course saying, give us some spiel about the emails and stuff. I type up with something, smart guy, I type up without phones. Text message. Oh, like, okay, then you want to text message. Something, all right, good.
Everybody involved in the conversation so that they know that they can't. Oh, you can't have a conversation with her and you and him. That's a no-no.
And so Jerry was on, he's on planning.
Yes.
But everybody else is, including me.
Yes.
Have
doing? Is he still walking in multiple cast? Okay. Cause he was the window washer guy that broke both ankles. His last. Hey, no, I'm away.
Hey, I don't think he was wearing a cap, but he said something about it.
Yes. I heard about it from Michelle, Michelle Hayes. I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't realize he was the one that had fallen off the roof. Yeah, right?
Funny, because I think the older he gets,
My husband, I walked through that kitchen on last Wednesday and I was looking at this. My boss is like, so did you turn 180? And I'm like, feels like it. My husband laughed at me the whole day and goes, this song, yeah, that's you. I'm sitting there going, striking distance, honey, striking distance.